Once again, this is Young, Black, and in Business Radio, and I'm your host, Roosevelt Williams III. Get excited because today we have a distinguished, dignified, debonair gentleman, Mr. Derrick Luckett of Destiny 6 Financial Services. However, before we do, get your pen and your pad because you're going to want to take copious notes because we always start with a commitment, we always deliver with quality, and ultimately, we always finish with success. The word of today, of the week, may I bring, is prosperous. To be prosperous in all that you do, and prosperous really, what that means is having success financially. Just being ultimately financial literate, and being prosperous, being successful. And the law of success for this week is a pleasing personality. You have to have a pleasing personality in business or in whatever arena that you're in, because a man or a woman that doesn't have a smile when they open up a storefront should not be in business. So remember that and get excited. Mr. Derrick Luckett, thank you for joining us, sir.
Hey, good morning, San Diego. I am so happy to be here. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Okay. So please tell us a little bit about Destiny 6 Financial Services.
Okay, Destiny 6 Financial Services, we're in Lemon Grove. We've been in Lemon Grove now about 18, 19 years. We're family owned and operated. We have a real estate office, a mortgage company there. And we also not only just have that, but we also have a new branch of it that's in the making right now. It's a HUD-approved counseling agency, where we will be able to help people get their credit together, help them get ready to purchase a home, talk to them about all their financial budgeting, foreclosure prevention. So we're going to have a wide range of new things that we're bringing to the community. That's our give back.
That's beautiful, and that's exactly what we need in our community. It takes a teamwork.
Absolutely.
Teamwork makes the goal work, and another reason why I invited you to the show, just because you're doing some outstanding services. You're ubiquitous. Every time I turn on the Facebook or some of my social media, you're there in the trenches, giving back, teaching financial literacy, and you're inspiring others.
Oh wow, thank you. I think that's one of the things you said about being prosperous, being the word of the week. Being prosperous means not that you have to have a lot of money in your pocket, but you have to have a good heart. That means you do have to be able to give back. Even if you may not have money in your pocket, your give back can be just as small as asking someone how they're doing that day. But a lot of times we go from day to day, and we just you see a person, and just because they say they okay doesn't mean that they're really okay. You should stop them and ask them, say, hey, Roosevelt, no, how you really doing? Because that's a different than how you doing than how you really doing.
Absolutely.
So being prosperous, definitely. I love that that's your word for the week, but we also have to look at what does that truly mean deep down inside. So that's why I'll take that.
Yes, sir. And that's also parallel to having a pleasing personality, taking an honest opinion in other people.
Absolutely.
And that goes with building relationships.
Yeah.
Like to say, individuals win trophies, but teams win championships.
Love it.
When you must love yourself before you can actually be yourself.
That's right.
And fulfill your destiny. So, I'm parallel with that, as in taking a genuine interest in other people.
Well, one thing for sure, you can see attitude coming through a door. You can be in a restaurant, and you can see when somebody's having what they look like, what I see and appear like they're having a bad day, or they just don't want to be bothered. Okay? So if you're opening up a business, whether you're feeling good that day or not, you have to be looking good, feeling good, and have a great personality. Because if you got a stank personality, we all know what a stank personality is. If you got one of those, nobody wants to deal with that. That's your drama. Leave that at home.
Right.
Okay, but when you go to work, you come to work and you coming in good spirits, and you want them to have good spirits. And Roosevelt, I'll just throw this at you also. One of the things that I do to break that, and I don't know if you ever noticed, when you come in my office, I have a lobby there. That lobby there is full of things to change their mind. Positive affirmations all over the wall. God loves you, Keep hope alive. Have faith in yourself. Those things, because I want you to sit there for about a minute or two. Get your thoughts together, because don't come through the next door. with that same
True.
bad stuff because it can roll off. And I don't
True.
want that. You don't want that.
True.
So what I want to do is just say, I think you're absolutely hitting it on the head with these, having positive affirmation, being positive, and making sure you have a great attitude.
And this, I may want to add, 6904 Federal Boulevard, Lemon Grove, California, 91945. When you walk into this gentleman's office, let me tell you, it smells like a Belizean resort.
Oh, well, I didn't know that it smelled like that.
Belizean
All right, I'm on it then.
You know, you walk in, it's a beautiful a beautiful fragrance. You do have the positive affirmations. I like how you even share other individuals' businesses and brands on your,
Yes.
like on the lobby desk. Then you walk in, your office, you got the big chair, nice desk and everything, and it smells refreshing. You got the spider plants going all around the edges. I've always complimented you on that, but it's just a positive energy, and you have to bring that to the table. And you also greet anyone that I see you also meet with a smile.
Well,
and a pleasing personality, and that's awesome. So we just want to commend you for that, for being that beacon of hope.
Thank you.
To the young black in the business nation. We want to give a shout out to our folks in Chicago, our folks in Atlanta, our folks in Florida, and because we're expanding as well. Please share with us some of the boards and some of the affiliations that you're a part of.
Okay, well, one of the main ones, and especially for the black community, that I think will hit home. And you said Chicago, that's my home. That's where I'm from. Born and raised in Chi-Town.
Illinois. That's right.
Right. And I have family in Atlanta as well.
Beautiful.
But one of the things that I will share that I think will hit home, and even just those communities, I belong to a national organization called the National Association of Real Estate Brokers. I am a director for them. I'm the past California state president for the Black Real Estate Brokers for the last 3 years. We have what they call realtists in these communities that I just mentioned: Chicago, Atlanta, Florida. Those are some of our major hubs for what they consider as realtists. And realtists are black real estate professionals, okay? Because we get away from who we are and where we come from. I try to make sure that I let it be known that anytime you need to have a real estate some real estate needs, look for someone who looks like you.
Okay.
Because they understand your pain, they understand your struggle, they understand your hopes, your aspirations, what black people have gone through when they're trying to acquire home ownership. So that's who you want to connect with. So wherever you are, you can go on to narab.org or narab.com. Now, I'm sorry, I may be wrong on that. It's HAMA.org.
Can you please say that
NAREB?
URL again? And
it's NAREB.com or NAREB.org. And there is a list of black real estate professionals in a town near you or in a community near you. So that's one of them. And also I think I said government affairs for San Diego Association of Realtors. I am on a board of directors for the San Diego Association of Realtors as well. So pretty knowledgeable about what we're going to be doing here today.
That is outstanding. And you can also look this gentleman up on Facebook. What are some of your other websites? Just so you can use the gentleman as a source, send him your budget, and we could definitely get some financial freedom. So please give us some of your, how to be contacted, some of your...
Okay, to be contacted, you can reach me at Destiny6 Financial. My email is destiny6financial@gmail.com. That's Destiny, DESTINYSIX, financial @gmail.com. That is the email. The website is Destiny6Financial, spelled the same way, .com. And my phone number is 619-825-9560, 619-825-9560.
Yes, and stay tuned, because I'm going to make sure that this gentleman at least delivers that elevator pitch 2 more times, because the importance of home ownership and owning the land, that is the next level to be able to having a voice in America.
And we're talking prosperity.
Yes, sir.
If we're talking prosperity, that's where our wealth is.
Yes, sir.
In our home.
Yes, sir.
We don't, because of how there's a couple of things, the disparities and the inequalities that's in the black communities. A lot of times we don't have the money to go and put in a 401k besides what's at work. We don't have that access. When our kids get ready to go to college and things like that, we look for wealth from the house. And we'll talk about that as you go further, in today's conversation. We have to start changing our dialogue or our narrative about what real wealth or how to start with wealth. Because if we look at, we got a nice car and we got money in the bank and money in our pocket, that really is temporary. All that can break down. Okay? All that can be gone overnight. You want to have your home no matter what.
That's right.
So we'll talk about that as we go on.
Beautiful, beautiful. I'm such inspired, and I look forward to learning more, and I know that you all do as well. Remember, the law of success for this week is pleasing personality. Even the way you shake someone's hand speaks volumes about how you're doing and how you're feeling. And the word for this week is prosperity. Prosperous. Planting prosperous seeds. Doing good and being good. A model that I like to share with you. I just want to do the right thing at the right place at the right time in a pleasing manner. And get excited because we're here with this distinguished, dignified, debonair gentleman, Mr. Derrick Luckett of Destiny 6 Financial Services. We're also going to talk about how we met. Because if you don't believe it or not, this gentleman right here is a model. Met him on the catwalk.
Oh, no. And he is too. He's a model also. I'm a has-been model. I can go to the senior citizen home now and maybe make a little money on the first of the month. But that's right. But it's not working like it used to.
Well, you're looking good and you're being good at it. And,
Thank you.
And that's another reason why it's important that each one teach one.
Absolutely.
Because in order to be a man, you must know a man. And when I was growing up, I've always, witnessed you, with having a strong presence, having a pleasing personality, and also as being a business professional. And I just want to thank you for being able to share the wisdom and the knowledge and not being selfish.
Oh, wow.
Because a lot of my peers see a lot of individuals that like to hoard the knowledge and hoard the success. But in your case, you've always, gave hand-ups instead of just giving the handout.
Well, I here's what I'll share with you, Roosevelt. The knowledge that I have, I like giving it away. And the reason I do is because I can't take it with me when I go. If I die tomorrow, God, please don't let me go. I'm not ready. But if you say I am, I am. But I can't take. I take that knowledge and I want to give it to you or to some other young individual, because one day I will be gone. My legacy is you.
Beautiful.
My legacy is if you can take what I give you, whether it's a small word of advice, a pat on the back, a smile, and it helps change your life, then that's helping me with my life while I'm here on this earth. When I'm gone, you're going to share that and help somebody else. We plant these seeds. Okay, we can plant good seeds or we can plant good seeds.
Prosperous seeds, I got you.
Right?
Yes, sir.
Right, so if we're planting those prosperous seeds, if it's one seed at a time, we don't know what's going to come out that seed. Like if it's an apple seed, you're going to get plenty, right? Because it's going to be generations to come.
Yes,
so,
sir. Well, we want to just thank you again for planting those redwood seeds in our community as well. And thank you again for tuning in to this episode of Young, Black, and in Business. Get excited because we always start with commitment. We always deliver with quality, and we're always going to finish with success. Again, the word of the week is prosperous. Plant those prosperous seeds like we were just speaking of. And the law of success for this week is having a pleasing personality. Even when you smile over the phone, the person on the other end could feel that energy. That's what we're doing here with Young Black in the Business. We're creating synergy. So get excited. Make sure you have your pens and your pads because we have Mr. Derrick Luckett with Destiny 6 Financial. Make sure you pick up after our commercial break. Thank you. Young Black in the Business, we are restoring the color, the culture, and the consciousness. We believe that our network is our network. Connecting young black entrepreneurs in San Diego and across the nation is pivotal for our economic growth. When they see us, we're gonna be wise, we're gonna be beautiful, and we're gonna be strong. And that's all they ever gonna see when they see us. And that's Young Black and in business. And we are back. So get excited. This is your host, Roosevelt Williams III of Young, Black, and in Business. We have our profound community lighthouse in the building, Mr. Derrick Luckett of Destiny 6 Financial Services. And we have some questions for you, Mr. Luckett. We were just discussing on the break, just layman terms, just basic business principles, like how do you buy a home? What's
what does it take?
What does it take? What is a FHA? So please, let's break down some of those basic principles.
Sure. Before I get into that, can I actually talk about Black history and housing for just a brief moment?
Please.
Because we need to understand why you need to own the land versus rent the land.
Beautiful.
Right now, a lot of people, we're conditioned sometimes to think the wrong stuff when it comes to housing. You'd rather have that $7 latte from where do you get lattes and stuff?
$10.
Yeah,
yeah, $10.
So you stop and you spend that every day, and you add that up with 30 days. That's out of $300 a month just on having a cup of coffee. Now I changed my thoughts on that. I never liked $10 anyway, but I go buy a jar of Folgers and it lasts me a whole month, and I spent $3 or $5 because we have to start budgeting. We have to set aside some money, because if you want true home ownership, then it's a sacrifice that you have to make. Stop buying that coffee. Stop hanging out. You spend too much in the street. Last night you did too much anyway.
You're right.
You know what I'm saying?
Talk to him.
So if you change your mind and say, I want to have something to call mine, you're not just building it for yourself right now. You're building a legacy for later. You hand it down to your kids. Hopefully they'll hand it down to their kids. But going back in history, I want to just tell you a couple of things that's been against us when it came to housing. You guys ever heard of something called deed restrictions? You may or may not have, but deed restrictions came about in the early 1900s, okay, because blacks was migrating from the South, coming up north.
Deed restrictions, is that a little bit like redlining?
You heard of CC&Rs?
Yes.
Covenant, conditions, and restrictions go with HOAs. Most HOAs have them.
Yes, sir.
That was designed to keep black folks out of houses. That was designed to make sure that that land could not transfer over to a black person. So it was a deed. It was put in the deeds of your home ownership, of your home, or that home, to say that this house cannot be sold to no one that is of Negro or Mulatto or Mongolian. Okay, they want to make sure that if your skin is dark in any form or fashion, you are completely out of it on purchasing. Okay, that's just one of the things. There was FHA. Let's talk about them. You asked me about FHA. That's why I want to give you some background on FHA.
Please give us.
And you mentioned something about redlining.
Yes, sir.
Well, FHA in 1934 through 1938, they came up with some walls to help divide us. Okay, those walls that divide us are basically walls that they put up, which was called redlining. If you lived, there was 3 or 4 different colors. You had green, yellow, and red.
Yes, sir.
If you lived in the green area, you were okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay, meaning that you could get financing, because FHA came up with this to help people get into houses. But if you lived in a yellow area, you may be a little too close to the red area, because black folks were living in the red area. Or should I say people who had, people who were not worthy of lending, in a sense, because FHA would not loan to people of color. So the redlining was designed to keep that wealth out of our hands. Okay? So people wonder why our community, we can't ever get ahead. We were set up for failure from the beginning, because whites have always been able to get this wealth in their homes, and then they pass it down for generations to come.
Yes, sir.
The people who are in La Jolla, that's old money, because it came from the grave and going on and on and on. Our red line in San Diego. Did you know it was red line in San Diego?
Absolutely.
Okay. Did you guys know that it was a red line in San Diego?
Yes, sir.
Well, do you know where it is?
Oh, if I just may chime in, I know that it's not near a freeway.
Well, you hit it on the head. Actually, it is near a freeway. You hit it on the head.
Excuse me. The outside of the red line is not by a freeway, but the inside of the red line is.
Correct.
Because they don't provide it. They want us to not have environmental justice. That's why they put us around all the smog and they put us around speed bumps and stop signs. So the more wear and tear we have brings us down.
Well, you know what that red lining, what it does, it brings us down as a community.
Right.
It deprives us of what we should actually have. Our red lining in San Diego is just what you said, near a freeway. Okay, and let me tell you what the freeway is: 8.
Oh yeah, yes sir.
Everything
north of the 8 is green.
Right.
And everything south of the 8 is yellow or red.
Yellow
yes,
red.
Sir, yes,
and
sir.
it was designed in 1934 by the government. And if you look at that, everything north of the 8 right now is better schools.
Yes, sir.
It's better education, better doctors, better everything on that end.
Less graffiti, less potholes.
Oh, absolutely.
Less eyesores.
Keep going.
Yes, sir. Broken windows, flies.
Okay. But down on this end,
right.
we're still struggling because we were set up for that struggle. The only thing I share with you about redlining in the north of San Diego, you ever heard of La Jolla?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
There's a pocket in La Jolla, a street called Decatur. It was about a 6-block radius. Okay, they had redlining in La Jolla in a 6-block radius. You know why? Because that was the slave quarters. Okay? History, exactly. My point being is that our wealth, if we don't change our mind and stop paying somebody else's rent, we got to stop paying somebody else's rent.
Yeah, I concur.
Their mortgage, in other words, you're paying your rent is paying their mortgage.
Yes,
we have to stop that, because if you continue, you're making that person wealthy, and you're making yourself suffer. Okay. One other thing, fair housing. Fair housing came about in 1968. Okay, our organization, NAREB, came about in 1947. Born out of the need because African Americans like me could not be a real estate professional. The Board of Realtors said we can't have people of color. We are going to fight people of color if you want to be a real estate professional. Thereby, not being able to help people who look like me, thereby not allowing black people to sell in white communities. You follow where I'm going with that?
Yes, I do.
So either way, it was a detriment again. That was another way. So the Realtor Board had already plotted. FHA, the government, our U.S. government, had already plotted against us for taking this wealth away. So you have wealth coming out from out of our communities left and right. People were literally living in cars stacked on top of each other in whatever locations they were living in. Our people have suffered enough without having home ownership. Okay, so in 1968, when fair housing came about, they had to kind of change how they thought about stuff. But guess what? We still deal with racism now when it comes to housing, and we can talk about that when you want to. But it definitely is still there.
Beautiful. And I just want to give hope to the young black and business nation and share with you all that in the low, moderate income communities that they, also known as the ghetto, it's hard to say.
That they created.
You know,
because of these tactics.
Even with that word, ghetto, we wanted to say that a lot of those low, moderate income communities are actually the richest part of that county or maybe your city. And I can give you a reason why, because a lot of the low, moderate income communities, rents or whatever you may want to call it, how your housing is set up, is paid by government money. So you're getting a consistent check on time on a certain day. However, you may go in that green zone and that grave money, sort of say, those folks are actually having to pay it out of pocket or from their legacies money, and they may have a whole lot of headaches you don't know about. Licensing, insurance, boats, planes. So their money is not actually guaranteed. It's all about what we own and not what we owe.
Yeah, yeah.
You know what we have, and not what we're renting. So you have to get you a mentor like Mr. Derrick Luckett, or find someone that has a professional posture and pick their brain and ask them how to invest.
Mm-hmm.
What can you do? With a penny. You can get penny stocks.
Yeah, yeah.
What can you do with $1? You can invest in a stock market. They got this because it's serious out there. They don't set us up for success.
Yeah,
They
right.
set us up for failure. And if they don't teach you right, they're not going to treat you right.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
You know what I mean? So, it's Mr. Luckett.
Yeah.
Let us know, what are you sharing? And we know that you're giving back tremendously, and we definitely want to, commend you for that. But the business acumen is so important, and it's so vital to the young black in the business nation. What principle can you give the individual looking to become an owner and step out of being a renter? Because here in this city, they're turning our city into a vacation home for New Yorkers. So, what armor can you give us? What chest plate, what helmet of salvation can you give us so we can go to war financially? Because business is warfare.
Well, I think the first thing that I would like to say is that we have to, and I keep going back, we have to change our mindset. We have to look at, I understand what you're saying in regards to the investing part of it, but I want to say invest in yourself first.
Beautiful.
Invest in yourself. Investing in yourself means you get you a condo. You don't have to have a house right away. Get you something to call your own. That's the biggest investment that you are going to have. When I look at a credit report, when you go and buy a car, when you go and do any of these things, they look and say, can this person pay his mortgage? Is he making his mortgage payment on time? Because that's the biggest loan.
That ratio.
Yeah. That's the biggest loan that's on your credit report, is your home.
Yes, sir.
Okay? Out of that home, though, you also get the tax write-off. As a renter, you do not get to write off your mortgage payment. You do not get to write that interest off. An example, because you guys got your pens ready, I'm sure. So, here's an example for you. You've been shelling out $1,500 a month. Times 12. That's how much you have paid in rent that year. Multiply that because you lived there for 10 years. You follow you see how big that number is right now? Now, I said $1,500. Some of you are paying more than that. In San Diego, you may be paying $2,000, $2,500 a month for somebody else's stuff that you don't get one dime back. Now, let's take that $1,500 a month. And let's say you had something to call your own on that. The biggest part of that $1,500 a month, I would say almost 90% of that, well, let me come down. I'll be nice. I'll say 80% of that $1,500. That 80% of that $1,500 a month, every month like clockwork, that is your principal and interest. That's what's going to principal and interest. So that interest that's left over, I'm going to just throw a number out there. Let's say it's $1,200. You get to write that off, multiply it times 12. At the end of the year, you get a statement to take to your tax preparer to say, this is how much you paid in interest. That is a tax deduction for you. That brings you down from the tax base where you were. It lowers your tax base, puts you in a better position where you're shelling out money and maybe even a tax refund you're not getting right now. Maybe you will when you have that tax deduction in there. More than likely you will. We have to start looking at, not only do we want to be able to save that way, but I always tell people, if you want a house, get a house account. Get a house account. Just like your regular bank account,
yes,
but it's irregular. You don't go to that one unless you need something that's a 911. Okay? Therefore, you're starting to put money into this house account. You're starting to really know that you're saving money for it. Because when you come to me, Roosevelt, what I want to do, the first thing I want to do is look at your everything here. Show me your credit, your 401k, your tax statements, your child support. If you did a Chapter 7, a Chapter 13, I need to know the good, the bad, and the ugly.
Yes. sir.
Because I'm on your team. If I don't know you're good, you're bad, and you're ugly, and I'm trying to go to bat for you as a mortgage professional, then I can't really help you. So that's one of those come to Jesus moments. Okay? Because I'm going to tell you about your good, your bad, and your ugly. And this is what's going to help you to get what you need. So we do an evaluation when they come in immediately. We don't even charge for that or anything.
Beautiful. And you can Google Destiny 6 Financial and call today, 619-825-9560. I'll repeat it again, Destiny 6 Financial. Call today, 619-825-9560 to get some professional posture and to have your come to Jesus moment, because it's about what you own and not what you owe. So please, join the team. Get excited. Remember, individuals win trophies, teams win championships. So join our team as we ascertain financial freedom and as we win a community championship, because we're planting prosperous seeds that will evolve into redwood trees.
Right.
And this is Young Black and in Business, and we got Mr. Derrick Luckett with us. So, Mr. Luckett, tell us, would you take $2 million in one lump sum, or would you take $4,000 once a month for the rest of your life?
$4,000 once a month. I must have hit the lotto.
So
Did I hit the lotto and didn't know where to sum? Come on,
so
tell
let me say it again. Mr. Luckett, would you take $2 million in a lump sum right now, or would you take $4,000 a month for the rest of your life?
Well, that's a good question. I haven't thought about it like that, because I can take my own $2 million and invest it myself. I can pick some categories that I would like to see that in, and then I can take a portion of it and keep for what I need and stretch it out. The $4,000 a month sounds really, really good, because that's totally guaranteed, and it also helps me. It helps with what I'm doing, and I know that $4,000 is coming in, because that $4,000 could be my mortgage on a monthly basis, and I know it's coming in for the rest of my life.
Yes, sir.
So wow. That's a nice gift. I'm so glad I came on your show, because you're going to give me a gift like that on my way out.
Absolutely. We have to challenge each other. We have to challenge each other with these financial questions, and to be able to build that, that not only that professional posture, but, to build business acumen and to be able to share it. Get excited. The word for this week is prosperous, and the law of success for this week is a pleasing personality.
I'll take the $4,000 though. I thought about it.
You just answered the question. Okay?
I'll take the $4,000. And here's why. I got a wife, got 4 biological kids,
yes,
4
sir.
adopted kids.
Yes, sir.
So with all these kids, they gonna want it. She gonna want it.
Yes,
Then I ain't gonna, it's gonna be gone before I know it.
Beautiful.
So I might as well take it on a monthly basis.
That's right. And to all the listeners at home, you ask yourself that question. And if you have any questions for Mr. Derrick Luckett and I, please call in 619-919-4745. I'll repeat it again. If you'd like to have any questions for Mr. Derrick Luckett at this time, how you can build your financial nest egg, please give us a call, 619-919-4745. And we're back, so get excited. I also want to just highlight you and also recognize you for being in the San Diego Monitor News every single week, so you can just find out some of the services. We have Mr. Derrick Luckett and Destiny 6 Financial Real Estate and Mortgage. The San Diego Monitor, look them up as well on San Diego Monitor News.com. Google them as well. But you do 100% financing, 580 credit score, purchasing cash out, refi loans, reverse mortgages, conventional loans, commercial lending. Please go into depth about some of your services.
Okay. One of them that I find to be really, really good, and it has a misconception on it as well. And again, we have been conditioned, and I'm trying to break some of these thoughts down where people really understand, and that's reverse mortgages. A lot of times, even though we're young, black, and in business, I say we. I like the we thing.
Yeah,
we're young, and we're black, and we're in business. You should see me though. Okay. Okay. Being young, black, and in business, that's one thing. But, one day you're going to get older. And either you've prepared or you have not prepared. There's one of the services we offer here is for seniors. That's that reverse mortgage. That's for your parents and your grandparents. You see the struggle that they go through. They're fixed on Social Security. They get Social Security every month. And in our community, it's been said that if you get a reverse mortgage, they're going to take your house. If you get a reverse mortgage, you die, they're going to take your house. And that is so far from the truth. What they don't say is that that person does not make any new mortgage payments. They don't have to make any more payments once they get a reverse mortgage. No more. They get to stay in the house. They are using the equity while they are living to pay the mortgage. They can walk away with a huge lump sum. They can, as I said, not make any mortgage payments. They die, you die, I die. We should all have our stuff together, and that's a trust, a family trust. You're growing these assets that you're talking about, being prosperous, but you're not protecting them. To protect those items that need to be protected, you have to have your stuff together. That means that you have to have a trust, or you go to court, probate court. It doesn't automatically go to your heirs. If you're creating any type of wealth, whether you're on your job with a 401k, whether you are saving it in a bank, whether you are just using your house to create wealth, all those things should be named in your trust, or your family's going to go through pure hell.
Can you say that again one more time? That's a principle.
Your family going to go through pure hell. if you don't have your
assets.
Your assets protected.
Right.
You're protecting your assets. Let me ask you this. You asked me a question.
Here we go.
You asked me a question.
I'm going to call my wife and use a lifeline.
No, you don't get a lifeline. Here's a question for you. If you bought something that was valuable, you went to an auction, you find that it is a rare painting. And they're going to ask you, do you want protection on this rare painting? Or you go to the store sometime, you buy a valuable TV, $4,000, $5,000 huge flat screen. Do you want the extra protection so if it breaks or if anything happens to it? Most of the time, you're going to say what?
I like to be protected.
You like to be protected?
Always, you know what I mean? From the flat screen TVs
to the vehicle,
to the Q45s,
right?
Everything has to be protected, because here at Young Black in the Business, we believe documentation is better than conversation. You can tell me that this car is gonna last or this TV is gonna last, but if it's documented, right, I could take this back and say, here you go.
You said this, and here it is, right?
And I'll just give you a prime example. We had the Mayweather fight at my home, and we just we got the surround sound system, we got the whole hookup, and I called myself being cool, and next thing you know, everything went out. Everything stopped. And we had to keep the party going.
Yes, absolutely.
So everybody had went over, into our turquoise room, and we kept the party going. However, I had to wake up with that headache the next day. I called myself being cool, but however, I had that documentation.
Yes.
And they came out that very next week and reinstalled everything. So I just use that as a life lesson, and to say how, you have to have that documentation, because that's better than conversation. Someone can tell you anything, but if it's documented, especially
with your
asset, then you can definitely be able to, it may pinch, it may cost a little pinch, but it's going to be worth it in the long run. So I definitely agree with that, and we're definitely parallel.
So with that trust, it's the same thing. That's your insurance. That's your insurance that your assets pass on to your family. That's that generational wealth.
Yes, sir.
And that's what we're so guilty of not doing as a people. We have not taken the time, and I'm not going to say everyone, and I'm not putting everybody in the same bubble. But here's what I will tell you. I worked in Chicago on the west side, in Cabrini Greens, and Robert B. Taylor Homes. I was an insurance man, okay? They didn't have nothing but a little small dime policy. They had protection on the children because the kids is out there acting a fool. They want to be able to have something versus nothing. You follow where I'm going with that? So my point is that I've worked with people who didn't have anything to people that do have something, and I've always encouraged, if you don't have that trust, your family really is not protected. And here's what happens, Roosevelt. Someone has a house, and I'm going to use somebody in San Diego. Had a house. Parents dead. First father died. Then mom died. 5 kids. They're not talking to each other. They fighting. because everybody gets greedy.
That's a real story.
This is our story.
Right. Our story. Right. Yes.
Okay. They're fighting amongst each other. In every family, there's a fight when somebody died who they felt was important and they were entitled to something. They act ugly. That trust is the living Bible of that person. If that person said, Sheila's in charge, then Sheila is in charge. So you got to talk to Sheila. You follow where I'm going with that? Sheila has that book. She takes it to the bank. I need the money out of my mom's account. Here's the trust. Boom. You follow? That's the Bible that Sheila has to have when she go in the bank. She can't just go in there and get that money out of U.S. Bank because my mom did now. Sheila has to move out of that house or sell that house. But in a reverse mortgage, Sheila gets to stay there for 1 year with no mortgage payments. If she had a conventional loan, VA or FHA loan, Sheila has to start making those payments or they're going to foreclose on that home. So these different loan things that we do, not every loan is for everybody.
That's right.
We have to figure out what works. And for you young black and in business folks, if you want to be prosperous, protect your parents first. Don't be so greedy to talk them out of doing what's best for them at this time in their life, because their Social Security checks. A person came in my office last week. His $900 a month mortgage payment. He's on a fixed income, works 4 hours a week at Walmart. He's a senior citizen. He comes in, his mortgaging jumped up because somebody gave him a bad mortgage back in the day. Now his payment is $2,100 a month. Does not know what to do with his house. They don't even know how they're going to come up with it. My point being is that somebody did them wrong. But you kids, you younger people, should I say, not kids, the kids of the seniors, you got to step up and be by their side. Help give your parents some direction and help read some of that stuff that they can't read anymore, don't understand anymore. So my advice is, if you want to be truly prosperous, because the house you're going to inherit if it's protected properly. If you want to be prosperous, do the right thing by them. And if you want to be prosperous, protect what you are working for right now and get yourself a trust also. I don't do trust. I want to give a disclaimer here. I don't do trust. Okay. But I want to make sure that my people have that in place. Because if you don't have one, you go to court, you have to pay attorneys, you have to go to probate court, and the judge, who is white, I'll say the word, he's going to make a decision. It's twisted backwards. He got one on and it's twisted backwards. He's going to make the decision as to what happens with these things that your parents have worked for all these years.
Beautiful.
So it's imperative that they do that.
Thank you for those trinkets and those gems that you just shared with us. I hope that you at home, wherever you are, in $10, wherever you may be, taking copious notes. Because what I've learned from that conversation is, don't jump over $1 and chase a dime. Don't go for that quick pick. Make sure that you secure your assets and what you do have.
No matter what you say.
And for that longevity. Mr. Luckett, another question that I want to ask for our young black and business nation. We have a 100-year plan. And our
100-year?
A 100-year plan.
Okay, that's keeping it going.
We have to keep it going.
Absolutely.
Because a legacy. So everything falls into place.
Sure.
So our 100-year plan is giving to our future generations. Give them a righteous name, a prosperous name from the sweat equity that we put in. Giving them a home.
I love it.
Just having that longevity in mind.
Absolutely.
Having that vision. Can you share with us your 100-year plan? Business, family, or just your vision. What prosperous seeds are you planting?
The prosperous seeds that I'm planting, I think I've already started planting some of it. I'll put it like that. My daughter, I'm just gonna tell you like this here. I started my kids working at an early age.
Beautiful.
I wasn't telling the government wasn't gonna tell me how old they have to be to go to work.
Did you hear that?
They're like, they got to be 15. I'm like, oh no.
And I'm going to throw that word in, a bonus word for you note takers: nepotism. Did you hear how this gentleman said that he already has a job for his daughter, or
Well,
how he gave a job and all that?
I taught them all my skills.
Nepotism.
It's what they do with it. It's up to them. I'm hoping that they build a legacy. My son works in the office with me. He's been working with me about 16 years.
Wonderful.
I can leave and go anywhere, and he knows just as much as I know when it comes to putting these loans together or how to structure them.
Beautiful.
So that's what he does on a day-to-day basis. My daughter, one just left my business and moved to Las Vegas. So she's trying to do her own thing. She's young, black, and trying to get in business. I have one daughter who is in the Treasury Department of one of the major banks, Wells Fargo.
Beautiful.
And so she's in the banking industry. When my kids were young, though, I got every last one of them. And I used to take them out. I couldn't afford with all the kids maybe to put in what I put into marketing right now. So my kids were my marketeers. Okay. I used to get them on a Sunday, like the day's beautiful. We go out and I'm like, you guys want pizza? Yeah, of course they want pizza. Well, you get it after we go to work. Okay. And I would go to some place like Staples and get a block of paper. You get the multicolored paper, bright colors on it.
Take notes.
Okay, and that pack of paper gonna cost me about $10 for the 500 sheets. I would put something on it, put my little marketing ad on it, and I take that and I duplicate it on there, or I put it on there 4 times. 1, 2, 3, 4. I take that same stack of paper back to Staples after I've created what I've had on it, and ask Staples to cut that up in 4 sections.
Take notes.
I spent $10, and I made 5. Well, how many hundreds is that?
It's hundreds.
Because it's 500,
right.
so it's actually 2,000 flyers.
There you go.
For $10.
Right.
And I would take them out, and we would hit an area. We would swoop the area, go in, and stick those flyers in the door. We would hit the parking lots. We would put them on windshields at a Home Depot, a Walmart parking lot. We'd be in and out before security come tell us we can't do it.
Take notes.
Taught them how to do it without setting the alarm off on the cars.
Take notes.
But you know what? It made the phone ring. And it was simple. So people say, well, I don't have marketing money. You don't have to have the marketing money. You just have to have the mindset that I can do something. Even if it's no more than wearing your own T-shirt with your own business on the front of it.
Take notes.
Let people ask you, what is that about? What that's your business? We have to change how we think business should look. And step outside the box. Because if you're working within the box, and you're not getting anything that you know that you should be getting and following all the rules and regulations, that means you need to step outside the box because you're too boxed in.
Take notes. We have the distinguished, dignified, debonair gentleman, Destiny 6 Financial, Mr. Derrick Luckett in the building. Please send him your budget. Have a come to Jesus moment. Call today, 619-825-9560. Call today, 619-825-9560. It's a privilege to have you in the building. You didn't bless us with gems and jewels and trinkets.
Anytime.
Absolutely. So, thank you for sharing with us. What could we expect next from Destiny 6 Financial? What's on your plate? Because yesterday, please share with us, you had a race conversation?
I had a race conversation with Point Loma Presbyterian Church, and it made the Union Tribune today. It was on News 8 last night.
Congratulations.
We've been working at this for about 4 years as far as trying to eradicate racism by changing hearts and minds. Racism is within all of us. It's just embedded. We too have our own biases. But, theirs is a little bit stronger. Now that we have Donald Trump in there saying this is how you divide the country and I'm going to show you how to do it, we have to know how to deal with that. And so we have an organization called Continuing the Conversation that's built on changing those hearts and minds. But what I want to tell you what's next for us before we run out of time, I want to make sure that the young, black, and in business know that I want to invite you to our Networking for Dollars breakfast. We have a Networking for Dollars breakfast every second Saturday of the month. And we do it at Marie Callender's in La Mesa, or some folks say that's San Diego, but it's right there off the 8 freeway. It's at Marie Callender's. Let me know you're interested. Call me, let me know, or text me or something that you want to come, and we'll shoot you the information. But when you come to that, it's to exchange ideas. You have older people with knowledge who've been in business for years. We need you young folks in that space so we can hand that legacy down. That's a 100-year plan. We give it to you, you give it to your child, and so on and so on. Another part of that 100-year plan, not just the networking for dollars, that I guess I'm trying to tell you a lot here in a short moment. The networking for dollars is very good also because you get to connect with somebody who's experiencing what you experience. As a person who's been in business by themselves for umpteen years, okay, I've always been self-employed. If I had to go into being an employee right now, I'd be the most disgruntled employee. They're going to ask me why I'm going to the bathroom. I'm like, none of your bleep business. But that's another story. But the reality of it is that you need to come and talk to these people so that they can actually help you to be in business. The struggles you go through as a self-employed individual. Here's what your challenge is. Well, first of all, the advantage is that you're your own boss. You make your own paycheck, and you control your time. That's the good news. The bad news is that you're your own boss. You make your own paycheck, and you control your time. You follow? So it could be good. It could be bad. But you have to learn to make sure you have people that you can pick up the phone to ask, because your time is your money.
Your time is your money, and this is Young Black in the Business, and you all should get excited because we have Destiny 6 Financial in the building. Remember, call today to get that wealth of knowledge, 619-825-9560. At this time, we want to just take this moment to remind you that the law of success for this week is to have a pleasing personality. You have to have the attitude of gratitude to be successful in business. The word of today is to be prosperous, prosperity, plant prosperous seeds, because you'll be able to reap what you sow.
That's right.
Have that attitude of gratitude, and remember that we are here for you because we are all young, black, and in business. We might not be in the same boat, but we are definitely all in the same storm. Tune in every single Sunday. Tell a friend, bring a friend, and if you ever want to call in, it's 619-919-4745. We learned a lot today. And we're going to keep it going, and we're definitely going to support, and we're definitely going to grow, and we're definitely going to have a legacy because each one should teach one, and we're going to use our professional posture and our business acumen to be prosperous, and we're going to exceed expectations. So this is your host, Roosevelt Williams III, and this is Young, Black, and in Business. So you should all get excited. Mr. Luckett, it's been an absolute privilege. An honor to have you, and
thank you, anytime.
We would definitely invite you back again.
I'm ready.
619-825-9560. Call them and give them your budget, and you too could be prosperous because we're all young, black, and in business.